Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the ranking of Amiga platformers. Today we're going to be looking at one of the newer releases for the Amiga. This is from 2011. This is Mr. Beanbag. I had a cup of coffee with Mr. Beanbag a few years back, not long after we started the show, on an Amigos Plays video. But it's been a while, and I'd like to see how Amiga, or how Mr. Beanbag has aged. So, we're gonna just dive right in if we can. I believe I have to configure my controllers. Sorry. Well, that seems to be what I want, unless... Oh, and I bet this is a private stream. Nope, it's public. Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, the YouTube streaming platform, I'm sure it's not YouTube, but it's showing that I've already streamed for an hour. So it's like not resetting the stream. It says that this is a public stream, so I don't know why people might be having a hard time seeing me, or maybe just nobody cares, which is always could be the case. But anyway, hey Pixels, I'm glad you're here. Just getting things ready here. Alright, so this is my fire button, I guess. Okay, looks like I've got controls. How's it going, Pixels? And we enter the first world. So already right off the bat we have a we have an overworld, which is nice. Okay, our beanbag protagonists can dispatch baddies by jumping on their heads. I can already tell right off the bat I've got a problem with this game because the screen really is fighting to keep me in the center of the screen, even when I make very small movements. I'm not a fan of that at all. I can only hope he's related to Mr. Bean, Ricky. I'm glad ARG went well too. I hope that I'm not entirely convinced that my problems are solved, but I think, you know, the ISP reps have been to visit Brent and Aaron's residence multiple times. So, hopefully their situation is fixed. Oh! It's got picked right off there. So we are collecting jelly beans. Looks like we've got a health meter, a jelly bean meter, a possible coin and diamond meter. Ooh, all right. I was reading over Dreamcatch's comments on my original playthrough of this game, and he was saying that this game started life as an Amos game, but then was converted to some other language. Or maybe it wasn't, but you know, it just didn't look very good, and now, I mean, this looks pretty good. I dig the tunes. All right, there's... Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a Fury of the Furries type kind of groovy soundtrack, which I dig. This is my kind of music, not what was on Jump and Roll for sure. This is not a commercial game. This is a homebrew released in 2011. So I believe that you can speak to Mr. Beanbag on Twitter at Mr. Beanbag. I believe that his wife is also on Twitter as Mrs. Beanbag. So these stars function as checkpoints. Ah, I see. Interesting. Thank you for that tidbit, Pixels. So this was released, supposed to be released in 2005. That's a 6-year It's hard to believe that the Amiga was that much more feasible in 2005 versus 2011, though. It would have, I mean, this definitely has the quality of a commercial release, though. All right. Valleyland. Ah, I see. Well, you never want to say post Amiga. You want to say, you know, post the feasible. You know, I tend to think, of course, many people date the death of the Amiga as a platform at different times. I tend to think of it as 97. I think 97 was when the majority of magazine support stopped. Of course, 94 was when the company was sold, but there were still plenty of people using the well, plenty is a relative term. There were never really plenty of people using Amigas, but, you know, a sustainable amount, I guess. Hey, Pixel Vixen. How's it going? I dig this music. Yeah, I'm still not quite sure what the diamonds get me. Not quite sure what the jelly beans get me, actually. Should have read the docs. If anybody wants to look up that bit of information so I can know for my own personal edification. Well, there's a Mario-style question block down there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Beanbag's pretty good. Pretty good. I will say that, you know, the major flaw, aside from the weird scrolling, where Mr. Beanbag is always in the dead center of the screen, is the sort of lack of animation of Mr. Beanbag. I guess one of the advantages of having a Beanbag as your main character is that you don't have to animate any running or anything like that, which is handy. Let's see. What happens? Okay, so I guess Beanbags are like your rings. And maybe when you get hit, you lose a certain amount. And then once you have under a certain amount, your beanbag or your jelly beans just go to 0. Yeah, I know it was somewhere 94, 95. That's when sort of a lot of people were pulling out of the scene. You know, the Windows 95 was a death knell, really, for not only the Amiga, but for the Mac as well in terms of market share. Windows 95 was just such an improvement over previous versions of Windows. And although Mac users will be loath to tell you, it really did give a lot of feature parity to the, I think, you know, OS 8 on the Mac side wasn't released until 96. If OS 8 could have come out before Windows 95, it might have been a different world, maybe. But, you know, OS 8 featured true sort of modern multitasking for the first time. I think we were talking about multitasking on the Amiga, you know, just via the workbench. And that's one of the things that if the Mystical Magical 600, which ever returns to Hurricane, then I want to do some workbench playing, and because I've never really played around on Workbench before, and just see how it stacks up to the classic Mac OS of the day. I feel confident, Ricky, that you are correct. I like the fact that there are no pits to fall into in this game. I mean, there are spikes, but there are no bottomless hole pits. Oh, let's see that. There's a little Sonic rolling action. I'm not sure how you trigger that. Oh, there we go. So that's kind of neat. Maybe that can wipe some enemies out. I appear to be a little bit lost, however. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's no getting around that guy. Yeah, so what I'm interested in is looking at 1.3, looking at Workbench 1.3, and then comparing it to, I don't know, probably OS 6.8, Mac OS 6.8, which is I think what would have been out at about the same time, and then comparing 3.1 to OS 7. And seeing how the multitasking compares and things like that. I think that sort of thing is a fun. Oh my gosh, it's going to make me go all the way back here. Those spike things are no good. But anyway, I heard from Jason Warrens, who is working on our 600, and he said that someone has tried to repair this 600 that was not very skilled in the past, and actually had taken some of the soldering pads completely off, which makes further repairs even, very difficult to deal with. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that. One of the things I've been considering, I've got to really do a lot more research into it, but looking into FPGA solutions for classic computers, because the thing is with the classic Mac, number one, it's a pain to emulate. There's Sheep Shaver and Basilisk and all these things, but it really is a pain. It's a huge pain. Actually, it probably is not nearly. It's probably about as much of a pain as emulating the Amiga is, but I just don't feel like dealing with it. The FPGA, if I can get cores for the different OSs and have them ready to go on the same SD card, that seems like a much preferable solution. Yeah, don't talk to me about 800K floppies. I had a really bad experience where I had some 800K floppies and I formatted them incorrectly and corrupted them, and this was in the days when I had the Mac Plus, but the internet was not nearly as what it is now, and it was hard to get them, and I basically ruined a bunch of disks. And then my drive died of my Mac Plus, and it sat unused for over a decade until I got the floppy MU. But I'm thinking about actually selling my floppy MU because as cool as it is to be able to play games on the actual Mac Plus, I can't stream anything. You can do the thing where you set up the camera. But it's not ideal, and to be honest with you, to be 100% honest, the Mac Plus is not a competent gaming machine. If you want to do black and white Mac gaming, you really need at least an SE30. The Mac Plus is just too slow. It's not what you want. Yeah, I believe the Mac also has 800K floppies, Ricky, the classic Mac. Oh, yeah. So level design is not really my cup of tea. This is definitely the European inspired maze structure of levels versus the more Japanese linear, single path through a level. Oh, hold on a second. My mom's calling. Hi, Mom. Nope, I'm fine. Yeah, we can go to O'Charlie's. Does that sound okay? We can pick you up. Okay, well, if you want him to drive, that's okay. Okay, well, right now I'm streaming, so I can't really talk, but okay, sounds good. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're making dinner plans for this evening. To tell you the truth, I'm starting to get a little frustrated with this level. The spike things are really annoying. I don't know why you design a game where you dispatch enemies with your by jumping on them and then put, you know, more than 40% of the enemies. Like, I understand if it's a water level, and then if you've got no jelly beans, you're pretty much screwed from the get-go. At least these things just push you off, but yeah, my mom actually watches the podcast, not in real time, but she watches the YouTube version. So she has no idea, you know, about anything with computer games, but she just enjoys listening to me and Aaron talk, and which I think most people that know anything about computer games, they don't tune in for our technical expertise. They tune in for our wacky antics. Hey, Tower Wave Zod. Yeah, no kidding, Pixels. I feel the same way. So I'm basically just trying to get out of this pit, and oh my gosh! Oh, and it's like when you've got no jelly beans, you know, it's like being small Mario when one hit kills you. And I do have the trainer turned on, obviously, so I've got infinite lives, but yeah, I feel like the forces are sort of conspiring against me here. Okay, so there are some jelly beans that I can pick up. So if I can get past here. Oh my gosh, come on. No, Ricky, we have not done any gold box games on Amigos yet. I know Aaron played a bunch of those back in the day on the PC, but I don't think he ever did any of them on the Amiga. It's like Eye of the Beholder and stuff like that, right? Okay, so at least I have another hit built in here. Okay. I will. Try a wave. I will put that on the list for sure. Okay. This is, I mean, and this is the only way through. This is the only way through. Do I have save states? I'm using the company here. I'm going through our thing. Extras. Okay, let's just see if we can do a save game file here on the desktop. It's really not. It's really not boring. I mean, it just depends on if you consider platformers boring. As platformers go, this one is not bad, especially platformers on the Amiga. But I'm just at a particular point in the game where I'm getting frustrated. I think that I made some poor choices early on. But there's no blind jumps. There's no instant death by spikes. I can't believe it. Did I hit a checkpoint up there? We'll find out, huh? No, I didn't. Okay. I'm bound to determine. And here's the thing. Okay, so I guess maybe special stages you can, it's like an upgrade thing. Well, Kid Chaos, I think your memories of Kid Chaos are a little rose-tinted. Kid Chaos is not a good game. This is much, much better. Robocod, I'll give you that. So now I've just gone on to another stage. I believe that this is AGA only. But I could be wrong. If anybody wants to check that on Aminet for me. I like the fact that the guys with the shields don't hurt you, they just push you, which is cool. You know, you can run up against them and they don't hurt you. I like that. I like that. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but I like that too. Yeah, I mean the backgrounds are pretty. I mean it's just like a stone, or I guess, or dirt background. But I don't know. I'm not a very good judge, to be honest with you, of what's AGA or not, because a game like Mr. Nuts, which looks freaking amazing, is OCS, right? I think, and so. Oh, okay. So it really wouldn't be a candidate for ranking of Amiga platformers then. Oops. But again, you know, it's hard for me to compare this. I mean, this is just it's another example of just this like maze-like structure where if it's for you, it's fine. But and this is kind of leading me through it, which I don't mind nearly as much as just having a more wide open area and you're expected to find your way. Plus there's plenty of jelly beans in this level. I think I was just on, you know, that one level that I quit out of, it was an optional level. And so oh yeah, I mean, oh wow. The Mr. Beanbag webpage features my playthrough. I feel honored. Look at this. Okay. Okay. This game's getting better all the time. So we've got a different sort of level. Again, you know, the music that fits the experience. You've got falling into the water. It doesn't instantly kill you. So we've entered a new, so this is like the valley levels. And the bridge, I guess the bridge is like a bonus stage because it didn't penalize me for failing. So that's cool. This game is really, it's got a lot to like. Another rockin' tune. This sounds like Hall & Oates. I love it. Oh. Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right, Vicky. The protagonist is less than inspired. I think that, you know, it's hard to really get behind a beanbag and feel any kind of emotions. Hex cumbers give you an extra life when you 100. Oh, okay. So that's cool. I like the fact that there's sort of different currencies, but none of them are completely useless. I do wish it was easier to get into your spin. Oh. But I mean, aside from that one spot, the checkpoints are not unfair. You can escape to get out of a stage. Stupid bee. Now let's see. Okay, the enemies don't respawn. That's a huge thing. I should have put that on the spreadsheet, but I didn't. Big hex cube there. I also like saying the word hexacube. Makes me sound magical. I do wish there was some sort of projectile or a power-up that's going to count against this game. Graphics are very impressive, though. I mean, like, they're bright, they're cheery. To me, a platformer, you know, it behooves a platformer, especially a mascot platformer, to be bright and cheery. This is a new game, Pixel. Vicky, this is from 2011, although Pixels at Dawn was saying that this game was supposed to come out in 2005, and but there were issues, and so... But this was one of the first new games that I remember looking at after we started Amigos. We never did an episode on it, but yeah, okay. What would have been cool is if, you know, to get rid of those spiky guys, if there was some sort of a charge roll move or something like that. But anyway, it is now time to score Mr. Beanbag officially on the ranking of platformers. Okay. I realize that's super small and you can't see it. We'll make it bigger. Okay. No, I can't make it that big because I can no longer see the... Okay. So this is Mr. Beanbag. Wonky controls. No variable height jump, excessive momentum. No problems there. Time limit. No time limit. Cannot be level 1 in under 5 minutes. I had no problem. No in-game music or music loops in under 1 minute. Not an issue. Lazy character animation. I would say yes. Meaningless collectibles. Nope. Blind jumps. Not really. You know, there were a couple times where I was jumping blindly into nothingness, but it was just because I was lost. I think that level design is probably not awesome on this, although I don't have a thing for that here. We'll go ahead and just take off half a point for blind jumps. No alternate endings. This game has alternate endings or branching paths or overworld map. Has these things. No power-ups. Docked 1 point. Okay. So this is going to work out to a 7.5 on the Amiga ranking, official ranking of Amiga platformers, leaving Woody's World still in the top slot, oddly enough. So if you want to check out the whole spreadsheet, I will drop a link into the description of this video. You can now see we've got 9 people watching. That's nice. All right, and there's where you can get it from, thecompany.pl. All right, well, this is going to do it for the ranking of Amiga platformers episode. This evening, or so actually tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming. I'm going to be doing some, let's see, Mercenary Damocles Sword. Damocles Mercenary 2 is this week's Amigos game. I'm going to be playing some Jetpack on the ZX Spectrum. And I don't know. Who knows what else I'll do. I might actually stop the stream. I'm feeling kind of froggy. You might look at a little bit of Atari 1200 XL. Maybe do a quick 25-minute stream of that in a couple minutes. I'm going to take about 10 minutes and get something to drink, and then try and hook that up, since we've got a couple people sticking around maybe. So thank you, Pixels, Pixel Vixen, Pixels of Dawn, Judge West, Tyra Wave Zod, Ricky DeRocher, and everyone else who's watching. And I will see you on the next stream. Until then, adios.